How are you today? This week is going to be fire. I am going to talk to you about being agent ready and everything you need to know in order to get signed. We're going to break this down into a series so that you can understand, first of all, everything you need to know about agents. Then making sure you are agent ready. You know, everybody wants an agent, but are you agent ready? And then we're going to talk about finding legit reps. How do you find professional agents that are not scamming you? We're going to talk a lot about that. We're also going to find out about reaching out to the agents to see about you getting signed. And then Friday, well, actually, I'm going to switch that. Friday, we're going to find out who the right agent is for you, because there's a lot of agents out there, but that doesn't mean they're the right agents for you. So we want to know that. But today, we're going to start out just talking about what an agent is, what they do, and why you, the actor, needs an agent. First of all, you hear the term a lot, agents and managers. They are different. A manager is someone who helps to groom your career. From how you're looking to the roles you are going up for, that's the purpose of a manager. They are grooming you. They are helping to create a persona or an image of what it is that you sell. An agent is very different. An agent is someone who submits you for roles. They see what it is that you sell, and then when breakdowns come out, and breakdowns are what casting directors send out when they're looking for actors. So let's say they're casting Grey's Anatomy. They're looking for a new intern. They're looking for a patient. They're looking for a disgruntled worker. So in the breakdown, they would tell you the age range of that person that they're looking for, maybe the ethnicity of that person, if it's a male or a female. They have a specific line about what they're doing, what their need is. So agents get breakdowns every day. And from those breakdowns, they look at that and then they go, oh, Lydia would be right for this. Mary would be right for this. And they start to write down the actors that would be right for each role that they're going for. And then they submit, they send your information on to the casting director. That is one of the main jobs of the agent, is to submit you for stuff. They're not there to hold your hand. They're not there to listen to your problems. They are not there to be your friends. It is business. When you are looking for an agent, what you want to understand is they submit you, they negotiate contracts. When you get a role, they'll negotiate the contract depending on how much flexibility there is for the contract. Sometimes the contracts are standard. You get this, and this. You'll get a credit at the end of the project, or if it's flexible, then maybe they can negotiate your name in front of the project. So, or sometimes you'll see, if it's a new actor, they'll put an introducing. That's a pretty big deal. So that's what agents do. They also can introduce you to casting directors. Good agents have relationships with casting directors and other agents. They have good relationships with certain managers. They have good relationships with producers. So um, that's what an agent does. And it takes time. Once you get with an agent, they have to get to know you. A lot of times actors will sign with agents, and then they don't hear from the agent, and then they're disgruntled because they didn't hear from an agent. Well, it works two ways. When you get with an agent, you have to reach out to them. It's a relationship. It's not your agent. First of all, it's not a mind reader, so you need to start building a relationship with that agent. The more they know about you and the more you are in front of them, the more they're thinking of you when they're submitting. So that's really important for you to understand. Another thing that you want to be aware of is when you sign with an agent, they're not charging you. Okay, if an agent charge you when they first sign you, do not, do not, I say it again, do not sign with them. They are not legit. Agents only get paid when you get paid. They only make money if you make money. So if they're signing you, if they're a legit agency and they're signing you, it's because they believe that they're going to make money working with you. And an agent, if you are union, they get 10%. If you're non-union, they get 20% of whatever you make. It's important to know that. They only make money from you. If you're non-union, they'll get 20% of whatever you get. If you're union, they get 10%. Why is that? Well, non-union actors don't get paid a lot of money. So if they're going to take you on, they need to make something. 10% of $100 is only $10. So they're going to charge you 20 if you make $100. If you're union and you make $1,000, they're getting $100. That's 10% of 1,000. So know what that is. An agent is only as good for you as the materials you give them and are updated. If you submit a 8-year-old headshot, chances are it's not going to work. You're not going to be going out. You're not going to be getting self-tape auditions because your picture is too old. And if they submitted you with some old pictures and you go in there and you look totally different, that casting director is not calling you back in. And they're probably gonna ding your agent. So you want to make sure that all your materials are up to date. You want to give your agent the tools they need in order to submit you, to help you get booked, to send you out for things if they decide they want to take a chance on you. Maybe they see a role and the role calls for a woman in her 30s, but they think, oh my God, Lydia would be perfect for this. I'm going to talk to the casting director. I'm going to see if they would at least bring her in. Sometimes you have agents who fight for you like that maybe the role is skewed a little older, a little younger. Maybe the role is skewed for a man and they think, you know what, she could do this role. And they will fight for you. Not in every situation, but every now and then you have an agent who's creative, who's thinking outside the box, and they will submit you. What you need to know about agents is, first of all, they're human. Why do they get 10%? Because they're doing 10% of the work. Your job is to do the 90% of the work. You should be going out there and meeting industry people. You should be submitting yourself, or at least sending little notes to casting directors, introducing yourself, letting them know what you do. So maybe when a role comes up that they're looking for someone specifically like you, they'll remember, oh, remember Lydia Nicole sent us something. Look her agent up on IMDb Pro, and then they'll call you in. So both of you are working together. And it is important for you to know that a lot of times agents are doing the best they can. Also, the difference between an agent and a manager is that an agent will have maybe 100 clients. If they're a one person office, maybe they'll have about 100 clients, 125 clients. I've heard some agents have up to 300 clients. That's a lot of clients for one person. So just think, if they have that many clients, what is it that you need to be doing so that you are front of mind to them? What should you be doing? Because you need to do work. You can't be sitting around waiting for the agent to call you. Most actors think that way. So I want you not to think that way. Don't think, well, my agent's gonna, my agent's looking out for me. They're doing, no, they're not. They're doing the best they can, but they're not focused on you solely. They've got a bunch of other clients. So how do you stay in front? How do they remember you as opposed to other people? So I want you to start thinking about that. What is it that you can be doing to help your agent out? Can you be doing showcases? How are you treating your social media page? Are you putting up little scenes? Are you putting up monologues? Are you showing your talent? Are you um, making a hit list of casting directors that you want to work with that maybe you're following on social media, so you get to see what they're posting, what their likes are, what they're talking about, so that you then, when you get in front of them, you have a conversation that you can engage in with them that's legit. As actors, sometimes we are thinking only about ourselves, but the best actors who are savvy are always looking at what the other people are doing, because that's really what a great actor does. When they're doing a scene, a great actor is looking at their partner and going, okay, how do I get what I need from you? What is it that you have? It's not, we as actors should not be going me 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 me. We should be going we. It's together. One of the things I learned very early on as an actor by a casting director was, when you come into the room, be it meeting a casting director or meeting an agent, you should be present. Number one, be present in that space. Anchor yourself in the now of the situation. And then look around. See, is there something you can start a conversation on? Oh, they got this fantastic painting. Oh, wait a minute. I know who that painter is. I can have a conversation. Oh, I love that painting you just did. That's on your wall. I actually have a couple of prints from that painter or that photographer. Or you see that they have something that says Hawaii or New York. Now maybe there's a conversation that you can have. Oh, my best friend lives in Hawaii. Oh, I'm from New York. Where were you in New York? And a conversation. That's starting a relationship. That way they'll remember you. If you come in and you're stiff with an agent, they need to know not just about you, but they need to see what you sell in front of them. So you know, if your character is chatty, then you should come in being chatty. If your character is, if they're introvert, don't be introvert. But be deep in the question you ask them about. Like, hey, if you're supposed to be a brainiac, then talk about something really high and intense, that they go, oh, okay, I get who this person is. I can sell that. Um, you're coming in bringing what you sell, so they see it immediately. The agent's job is not to figure out what you sell. That is your job. Your job is to know what it is that you sell. So when you come in, the agent isn't guessing. The agent knows exactly what they are buying when they sign you so that they can then share it with other people like casting directors, producers, directors. They can say, my client is this, this, and this, and they would be a great fit for your project right now. So when you are looking for an agent, you want to make sure that you know exactly what they do. Don't get confused. Something that that actors do a lot, and I'll talk more about this as the week goes on, is that sometimes we're talking to our actor friends, and then they'll say, yeah, my agent isn't doing this for me, and they're not doing this for me, and blah 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 blah, and that stuff becomes contagious. Then you go, wait a minute, my agent isn't doing anything for me, I need to leave, I need another agent. Well, before you leave the agency, you gotta find out what is true and what is not true. We think sometimes um, there are no roles for you in that season that they're casting stuff. There are just not a lot of roles for your type. You have to know that, especially if you're a character actor, especially if your stuff is really niche. Um, like, I play a thug, but I'm a thug with a heart of gold. Well, maybe they're looking for thugs that are just killers that have no empathy. Well, you're not going to be right for that. So if it's a really great agent, they're not going to submit you for that, unless you know the casting director and they know you, and you tell your agent, I know they're looking for this, but can we see if I can get in for that, because I think I could do that role. And but that only comes when the agent really knows you and trusts your ability as an actor, that they trust that they can submit you and know that you're not going to embarrass them or cause a rift between them and the casting director for submitting you. So um, it is you as the actor learning about the business enough so you know, hey, your agent is working for you, and you should be contacting your agent at least twice a month with stuff, or they you should be in their face, drop something off. Maybe it's new pictures, maybe it's new resumes, maybe you're in the neighborhood, because you were meeting with somebody and you're dropping them off some goodies to just say, hey, I was in the neighborhood, I thought of you guys, here's a basket of bagels, here's a basket of muffins, here's a basket of cookies. Bring something to them. We all love gifts, right? You as an actor, you love gifts. So it's important to bring stuff to them that will help you. It's business. People remember people who they just dealt with. If they haven't dealt with you in a month, 2 months, they've forgotten about you. It's not personal. They got a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of people in front of them. So how do you stay in front of them? So agents are people, and you gotta extend grace. And it's not a one-way relationship. It is a two-way relationship. Relationship includes reaching out. Don't wait for them to reach out for you. You start the ball rolling. How you doing? Find out, when you sign with an agent, and we'll talk about this more, but when you sign with an agent, you should find out how they like to communicate. Do they like you to text them, email them, call them after a certain time? I know most agents are working hard the first part of the day, and they don't want to have any calls from clients until after 4, maybe 5 o'clock. So unless you are a big muckety muck at that agent and you are bringing in a lot of money, they're not going to take your call. And maybe even if you are muckety muck and they're in the middle of dealing with negotiations with a casting director or a studio executive, they're not going to take your call right away. It will probably be at the end of the day. So be patient. Be patient. This business is about patience. You got to have patience. If you are always anxious and running around, you burn yourself out, and you can damage your career because you'll make bad decisions that won't be in your favor. So today, um, it today we talked about what an agent does, who is the agent, um, and it's important for you to know what the difference is between agents and managers, because a lot of times as actors we confuse the two. Agents, like I said before, they're not babysitters. They don't hold your hand. They are submitting you. They're negotiating contracts. They're doing their best to open doors for you to meet with other casting directors or other industry people. But it is up to you to bring the goods. It is your job to razzle and dazzle the the person you are meeting. That's your job. That's not the agent's job. If you don't do your part, the agent can't negotiate a contract because you did not get the job. You went in there and you tanked. You choked. You didn't bring the goods. And sometimes this is just for you to know as an actor. Sometimes you bring the best to that audition or that self tape, but it has nothing to do with talent. You didn't get hired because you weren't good. You didn't get hired because they were trying to match the lead actor with someone who would complement and not overshadow them. And I've seen this a lot. Sometimes you get actors that are really powerful that come in, but if you put them with that star, they're going to overshadow that star, and they can't. They're not going to do that. So you might not get the job because you're going to stand out in a way that's not going to be beneficial to the star of the project, who a lot of times uh, production companies are getting funding because they have a certain name attached to that project. So you have to know you didn't get the job. Look, I'll tell you this quick story. And this is stuff that I've learned, so I'm not telling you, I'm telling you stuff that I've learned as an actor. There was one year where I was up for seven shows, seven new pilots shows, and it got down between me and another actor, and I lost out because I was too short. The actor was too tall. They wanted somebody with straighter hair. It had nothing to do with my talent. They loved what I did, but they were looking for a different. They had a different look in mind, or the chemistry was not right. Because in all those seven odd interviews, I got to the final callback. Sometimes it was three callbacks that I had to go. And in every case, I read with the star. At the end of the last reading, I always got to read with the star. So sometimes it's about chemistry. You are a great actor, but the chemistry is just not right. And so when you go into auditions, this is a side note. When you go into auditions or you do your self tape and then you get a call back on Zoom or whatever the teleconferencing site is, it may not be a fit, but that doesn't mean you are not good. It just means you were not right for that role. What's happened in the past, I might have gone up for something, but I wasn't right for that particular role. But the casting director called me back again for a different role, and then I booked it. So patience. When I talk about patience, you as the actor have to have patience. You have to have patience. If you sign with an agent, you gotta trust them, and you gotta give them the goods. So this week we're going to be breaking down everything you need to know in order to get signed by an agent, the right agent, okay? Because a lot of times we're so anxious to get signed by an agent, we'll just go with whoever. We're not asking the right questions. We're not doing our research to find out who they rep. We're not looking at, we're not asking them who are some of the casting directors that they have relationships with, who who at their agency have booked work. So we're going to break all of that down um, as the week goes on. I want you to know, first of all, if you're an actor, you are amazing. You are amazing. You have gifts to give. Now it's just finding out where those gifts fit, because we have certain gifts, but they may not fit at every production. We want to start having a better sense of not only what we do as actors, but where we fit, where we fit. Something I heard um, on an old Oprah show years and years ago, and always stayed with me, is you want to go where you're celebrated, not tolerated. So as an actor, you want to be where you are celebrated, not tolerated. You don't want to be begging people for jobs. You want them to come to you for the job. You want that your work speaks for yourself, that people want to be with you. They want you in their space. Not, oh God, all right, we're gonna, she bugged me, bugged me, bugged me, so I gave her a job, and you weren't right for the job, and then it doesn't turn out well for you. You want to be places where you can blossom, where you can grow, where people are happy to see you come and they're sad to see you go. You want to be a breath of fresh air to them, and we'll talk more about that later. I am so happy that we got this opportunity to talk today, and I can't wait to do it tomorrow. All right, well, you have a phenomenal day, and just remember, let your light shine bright. Don't let anybody dim your light. Don't you dim your light. Shine. As an actor, it is important for us to keep our shine. We got to show up, and how we dim our light is when we are in doubt, when we feel insecure, when we feel like uh, we're not enough, when we walk in imposter syndrome. Those things dim our light. We don't want to dim our light. We want to shine. We want to shine and be the star we are meant to be. God created you to be great. God created you for a time such as this. So walk in that gift, people. Walk in your gift. Don't let anybody take that stuff from you, okay? I love you. Till tomorrow. And I also want to remind you that you can go to Lydia Nicole Live on YouTube. I have a ton of videos you can watch. Also, I highly recommend you get my planner, Acting Smarter Now. It is in book form and in digital form, and it will help you with your career. Okay? All right. Till tomorrow. Adios. Bye.